No?
Yes, Vijayji.
Okay, very nice. Thank you, Ishaji. And Hari Om all. So today we will contemplate on the verse 25 from chapter 8, Akṣhara Brahma Yoga. Dhūmo rātris tathā kṛiṣhṇaḥ ṣhaṇ-māsā dakṣhiṇayanam tatra chāndra-masam jyotir yogi prāpya nivartate. Those who, practitioners of rituals only, pass away during the 6 months of the sun's southern course, the dark fortnight of the moon, the time of smoke, the night, attain the celestial abodes. After enjoying celestial pleasures, they again return to the earth. Pitrayana. Dhūmaḥ, smoke, rātriḥ, night, tathā, and kṛiṣhṇaḥ, the dark fortnight of the moon, ṣhaṭ-māsāḥ, 6 months, dakṣhiṇayanam, the sun's southern course, tatra, there, chāndra-masam, lunar, jyotiḥ, light, yogi, a yogi, prāpya, attain, nivartate, comes back. So, just to give context, last week we talked about what happens to the one who lives during the sun's northern course, the 6 months of the sun's northern course, right? And how, and like not only that, those who know that, those who have the knowledge of Supreme Brahman and depart, right? So they attain the supreme destination and they never come back. That's what we discussed last week. And this week we are talking about what happens when they leave during the there are again two conditions, right? One, those who practice rituals only, okay, there is no mention of they have the jnana of Brahma jnana, right? And they live in the 6 months of the sun's southern course. What happens to them is what we are going to see here. Ishaji, maybe today you will have to start so that we will give time for Siaji.
Yeah, ji. Okay. I actually thought Vijayji will join after many, many, many weeks, and I want to keep the last week's shloka itself, for him to give us that meaning, because we are literally.
Should we revisit the last one also?
Yeah, but both are, I think it is hand in hand only, na?
Yes.
So if he's talking about this, he'll definitely talk about that also. So let's wait and see Vijay's contemplation. Okay, this one, as it is only, I'm able to relate and understand Sarvananji. For me, in my head, when it comes to this universe and planets and all, what I go by is there's, one Mahavishnu sitting somewhere, in one universe, and he has created lots of universe, and there is lots of Devi Devatas, whomever we are praying to. Okay, and then there are lots of like sun god, moon god, them also. So there are ways to live in this world without doing bad, like by doing good things, but only doing for yourself, in terms of you're doing it for your child or your friend or your family. So all it's like work is worship mode. Though we are not very much attached to the result, we are attached to the work itself. Like, so much we want to do for our family, right? And it's like saying, how I understand, it's not wrong to work. We are humans. We have our responsibility, but our main focus is only doing that. A human birth, first thing, we have got the birth with conscious, which the other living species, like a plant or tree and animals, they don't have as much as conscious as a human being have. And they are all nature bound also, right? So whatever nature tells, they will do. They don't think and do it. But I feel that humans, we can think for ourselves. We have that, so we are given birth to mostly to realize, for self-realization only. But since we have taken the form of a human being, there are certain kind of responsibility attached to this body. But at the same time, you're not supposed to forget what you have been born for. So as we discussed in previous shlokas, all this, how we can remember Krishna at the time of death, like how we should be detached from our work, or how we have to be detached from the results of our work, because as we have discussed, nothing is in our control. Very, very, very minute control of certain things only we have. Maybe we can say don't eat this to our child or something like that, but apart from that, so many things we are not in control. So even the result is not based on that. So when you're only result oriented and you do things only because you want to achieve something which is all temporary, but
Mm.
there's nothing wrong. You're a go-getter, you're an achiever, you want to do something, you're doing certain business just to make money so that you give it to, there's nothing wrong. But then since you're so attached to this body and duties of the body, I feel this shloka says you'll again come back.
Yeah.
There is no liberation for you, because what you desire the most, what you have worked hard for the most, is what you are going to get later also. So in case you are able to balance that, and get into the pure conscious mode while you're doing your responsibility also, like as an offering, as we discussed all this class, whatever we are doing, if you're doing it as an offering, if you're not too attached to the work or the result for that matter, and you're not controlling things and all this, if you're in the pure conscious mode, is when the true liberation happens. So you're not attached to anything other than the supreme personality. That's what I feel.
Mm. Yeah, when the karma is done, as you said, like go get, I want to do it. It is still that there is this GB fully present and it's doing for whatever cost. Okay, even if it's for a, even if it's done for family, it's still like I am doing for
Mm,
right,
correct. That's
right.
what.
So
Yeah. It's like, and I feel that, and still because we are following certain rules and dharma, we are not punished. We are going to a very nice planets only where, but we have to come down, because that is not a permanent. As our work was not permanent, as our body was not permanent, even going there is not permanent. So you
yeah,
come back. It's not that you are punished, but the punishment is you coming back and taking the birth.
until you realize why are you doing, what are you doing.
Yeah, yeah. I say, we all are 100% sure that we are leaving our body here. 100% we know that we are not taking the body. So, but all the connection is with our body, right? Whether I'm wife or mother or friend or neighbor, everything is with them for the body. But as soon as my soul goes, they don't recognize me as Isha. The next 2 minutes they'll call me body only, right? So it's gone. So what is, though I am there, they'll say she is gone.
Mm.
That means everything goes with that. So that realization, if we are able to attain it practically, is when I feel liberation happens.
Mm.
For me, it's a long way. I think I'm going to come back only, as I say.
No, you just said you actually gave what is missing, and you know it also.
I know, but that's what I'm in the theory part. Practically to do, no. As soon as I get attached, I'll say, no, 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 no. It says don't get attached. So I'm in that. So I also believe that certain people, when you see they're so blessed, you feel, as we discussed, I think last to last class also, right? We are born in a place where we can immediately pick up things
Mm.
like spiritual knowledge.
Yes,
The place,
yes.
the family is such a way that immediately you can pick up. Maybe, yeah, that's what uh, is also good only, right? There's nothing wrong in that part also. So yeah.
But yeah, again, one does not need to wait for another life, or rather, like every moment. I think the whole thing is. Yesterday, I was listening to one of Guruji's talk, right? Okay, and he was the core point was, uh, you just need to be conscious every moment what you're doing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and right there, like, because if you are conscious, you are in the presence, you are here and now.
Mm.
And if you are not in the present, if you are not conscious, either you are living the past dead life, or the
Mm.
future which is
Not, not
which is
so.
not, yeah, which is not happened, and like you are just creating it, right, out of,
Yeah.
right.
Mm.
And all that, if one is able to come to the current moment consciously, right, when
Mm.
conscious, uh, there is no, right there, there is no suffering at all, because the suffering comes when one is trying to relate the current with something in the past, how it was,
Mm.
like in this scenario, how it was in the past, you bring it, that is where the suffering comes. But like, if I am there in the moment right now, and if I'm not going back to my memory, right,
Mm.
there is no suffering, you're just there,
Mm.
right. And that also makes one conscious of what what is like, what do we talk, because what I talk is very, very powerful, and it is
Mm.
what creates, right, as you were saying, right, you are going to come back again and again. This is
Mm.
what now you are saying it.
Okay.
So, like, right. So it has the power. Okay, if that is what it is, then here you go. But then, like, hey, again you have to go through the birth, and then, like, whatever, like, which place you are born, and go through the grind, full grind, right? But like, we have it right now with us, and actually it is nice. The more I hear that, like, why is not possible now, right? So it is not like in this life I have to get this moksha right now, is what matters to me.
Sarvana ji, this shloka, they say that if they pass away during the 6 months, but how do they know they'll return back to earth? Like, we don't even know that.
Yeah, yeah. So CIG, that's what we are seeing, right? So it's not about we don't know that, the Gita is itself is saying you are going to come back if you just practice the rituals. Okay, in this case it's maybe like you did. So it's actually talking about those who have followed the dharma, and like followed homa, they did those homas, yajna, right, and they did the right, they did the things, whatever the karma, with the right intention you did. Okay, it's saying that you will go to the heaven, you will enjoy, but then you're going to come back to earth, because, so it is covered in the last sloka,
Mm.
because.
But like,
Mhm.
I've always had this question: how do we know that Bhagavad Gita, the verses, was actually said by Krishna?
Uh-huh.
Like
So, mhm.
there's no proof. Like, it's only like everything that we are reading right now is just based on what we are reading, and we don't really know if it's actually what true or not.
Yeah. So, okay, that is a basic fundamental question we first address, right? Which is, when you are taught something, first, let's say you learn through a book, right? So what do? You just you check who's the author written, right? The next is the author the original author of that content, or the author is like learning from other things and then like compiling a book, right? They will have a lot of references, right? In your books, the author would have said like, I have referred all these things and then I'm writing this. So it is coming from another book, right? And then there are two things you look in, two aspects. One is if that content is making sense to you, and then that author, do you trust that author, right? When you look for these college books, you just don't pick up a book. You may go through reviews, or like you talk to your friends, say, and somebody may refer you, or your professors or teachers, they will tell you which book to buy, right? So that before you pick up a book, you need to trust that book, trust that author, and that comes from someone whom you trust first, right? If some
But
Hmm.
but it's not only about trust, like all this that has been written in the Gita, it's Krishna's knowledge, it's not our knowledge, and we are just reading it. So only when we experience it, we can actually feel feel it, right? If not, we just read it and we're like, oh, okay, like, I have to do this. But practically, if you apply it in your life, you can only feel all this when you experience the
Definitely,
like.
definitely. It is
Yeah.
it is meant for applying only. It is not just a theory. It's not just for reading. So that's why we go through three steps, right? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So what we do here in the satsang is Shravanam, right? You are listening. We are reading, and then Mananam is then you contemplate on this. Oh, okay, what did this verse say? Okay, and does it make sense? Right? Then you spend time on it, and then like you get some like how you're getting questions. You ask the questions, get answers. You keep asking until you get there. You are convinced with that, and then third part nididhyasam is where like you stay with the truth, with whatever has been taught. Every verse is meant to be applied in your day-to-day life.
But because of all this, but there's different books, right? Bhagavad Gita, then Quran, and then Christianity, like all different religions. Because of all this, now there's a division of gods, and now in the world there's so many fights happening because of this, and riots. So like sometimes I feel like why like because of all the knowledge that there is someone else's knowledge, we are all fighting over it, and like we don't even like it's not even our knowledge, like it's not something we have experienced, and we're just fighting because the ideology is different, and there's so much like everyone is just like it's not even a community anymore, everyone is just an individual, and they're just fighting at this point.
Yeah, I agree, Siaji. So the way I see it is like first thing is I have to be clear about what it is. If I don't have complete knowledge, then my my standing itself will not be strong. Okay, to be able to go and you want to discuss with somebody. First of all, the first question is, it is even for the people who follow Hinduism, right? You can go and ask first, do you know about your own gods? Who are gods? What is Gita talking about? Do you know Gita? Have you read Gita? Have you understood? Right? The more you first try to understand your own the religion that you are practicing, you will get lot of answers to all your questions. Actually,
But because of like listening to all the verses in different religions, like we should even see the impact of what it's causing everyone. Like people are just saying that, because that's what it told me to do, so that's why I'm doing it, and that's why it's valid to, do something like that.
Yeah, so people will do. First thing is what we focus in our satsang is, am I doing the right thing? Do I know what it is? First start with you. Okay. You first you pick you can pick one book, any book, but you need to pick up, to take a path. You need to know who is guiding, and what is it about, where is this path taking me to, right? First spend time on it, then you try to understand yourself completely, and you don't worry about rest. The more you get the clarity, you will start seeing you will start seeing the world very differently. It is all about,
Okay.
like, do I have the right complete knowledge of what we are talking about? You say that people fighting the world, you will see a lot of things going on in the world. First thing is, do I have clarity myself? Right? It cannot be that, like, hey, this guy is saying go here, this guy is saying read this guy is saying read that, right? But you are the one who's going to decide. You decide which path you want to go, and how are you going to decide on the path you are going to take. That is all up to you.
Saravanan, can I add
Yes, please, Vijay.
couple of points?
Yeah.
Siyaji, the question is very simple. Now, what we are reading, one way to look at it is, this is Krishna's knowledge, or Vyasa's knowledge, or Sanjaya's knowledge. So now, does it matter whose knowledge it is, or what matters to you, Siyaji, from whatever you are reading?
I mean, when I read something, like it's just like me taking in the information. But I think, like, I can only relate to it when I have gone through it, like in a way.
Yeah, let us therefore ask the question, what does any knowledge mean to you? Does it matter whose knowledge it is, or what is the purpose of that knowledge to you personally?
Purpose of the knowledge.
This particular knowledge, bhagavadgita knowledge, what is the purpose of this? What is the use of this for you?
For me, I think it's because I am like unstable in life, and like when I read the Gita, like I find stability in a way, like because my mind is full of chaos, and I tend to go for the things that I don't want to go, but I still end up doing it. So after the Gita, I think it's given me stability, I think, yeah.
Okay. So now, does it matter whether Krishna has said it, or Vyasa has said it, or Saravananji has said it, or Ishaji has said it? At the end of the day, if there is value to you, you need to examine what is the cause of instability, and is this, whatever the knowledge that is here, is it helping me to gain stability? That is how you are approaching it, is it not?
Yeah.
Okay. So therefore, what is the first thing that we should establish as far as any knowledge is concerned? What is the use of this knowledge? Does this knowledge even have a practical purpose? So it is not at all necessary whose knowledge it is. Has this knowledge brought some clarity within my thinking? Has this knowledge brought a sense of peace within? Has this knowledge reduced emotional turbulence? Are these questions what is the answer for these questions? What is the answer that you have, Siaji? I'm asking you personally. Have you found any peace from Bhagavad Gita?
I have, but like I'm having all these questions because like after like reading few verses of the Gita, I feel like I'm a whole different person. So like sometimes I feel like, the information, like all this that I'm reading, like what, like because of that I have changed. And like how to say, like uh is it I sometimes I feel like I just changed because I read something. Like I don't know.
Okay. No, let me put the question in a simple way. Have you found peace, or have you found stability in any particular situation? If so, what is the situation, and what is that Bhagavad Gita did to help you in that situation? Can you recall any such particular situation and a particular application of Bhagavad Gita that you did?
So I have found peace in Bhagavad Gita, and one such situation is I tend to have a lot of I tend to disagree a lot. So when it comes to family, like outside family, like cousins and aunt and uncles, so my when they have something to say, I'll listen. And but the thing is that I have my own opinions, and I like to voice them out, but my dad doesn't want me to do that. So after reading the Bhagavad Gita, I think I found peace in, like, not voicing my opinions and just keeping it to myself, because I don't need everyone to know what I'm feeling.
Okay, where in Bhagavad Gita Krishna said that you should not voice your opinion?
Not as in like voice my opinion, it's as in, like, you can find peace in what others say and not let it affect you, like, attachment to holding on to things, like to not hold attachment and to let go. I have an issue, like I attach a lot of things, I attach to a lot of things. So the Bhagavad Gita has helped me to unattach, like, to few things.
Okay, excellent. Okay, let's focus on that particular aspect. Now, are you able to recall any particular verse or any particular chapter from where you got to realize that uh, you need to unattach to be peaceful in life? From how did you get that idea?
I don't think it's like it's based on a chapter. It's like, how there is fictional stories on Bhagavad Gita. So
Hmm.
in one of the books, I read a fictional story, and in that it was based on a chapter and verse. I don't recall the chapter or verse, and in that story, they told it about like how people hold attachment and how it can lead to you like lead to like this like destroying of yourself, like the destruction of yourself, because when you hold attachment, you are the one holding attachment, it's not anyone else, and they are not going to get affected. You're the only one who's going to face the effects. So
Excellent. Now, that particular statement that you read, or the story that you read, now you were able to understand it and you were able to apply it. And
yeah,
that created the necessary stability. Is that a correct statement?
yeah.
Okay. Now, let's say the same statement, if another person applies, do you feel it will also bring the same effect, which is nothing but stability or peace to them also?
It depends on, because we all are different, it's not like we feel the same things.
You may not feel the same thing. My question is not that. My question is, what is that you understood hey, I should not be attached, because various kinds of situations come and go. As long as I am unattached, I will be okay. I will be peaceful. That is what you read and understood. Correct?
Yeah.
Therefore, my question is, let's say another person also listens to that or reads that, and that other person also applies the same, which is being unattached. If let's say that other person also is unattached to whatever that is happening in their life, your situations are different, their situations are different. Maybe in your life, there is exam pressure, or maybe others are coming and saying things about your life situations. Whereas for another person, it may be money pressure. Maybe there is some other situation. Ultimately, situations are different, but what is that I'm prompting is, if that other person also is able to become unattached and simply is able to look at how to respond to different situations, do you think the other person also will experience what you are experiencing, which is peace and some sense of stability?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Now, what it means is, whatever the knowledge that Bhagavad Gita is giving, if it is applied, it seems to be resulting in the same kind of effect. Can we make that inference?
Yeah.
Okay. So if something is able to provide or create the same kind of outcome or output or result, situations are different. Once again, please note, Ishaji's situation is different, Siyaji's situation is different, Saravanji's is different, Vijay's is different, but the effect is the same. Why? Because each one of us chose to apply what Bhagavad Gita was saying. If something
Yeah.
like that is there, whatever that Bhagavad Gita is giving, can you and I say, hey, it is universally applicable? Can you and I say like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And if something is universally applicable, that can we also refer to it as a statement of truth?
Yeah.
Or can we also call it as universal truth?
Yeah.
Now, does it even matter whether Krishna said it or Vyasa said it or Sharavanji said it? Who said it? Does it matter? Or does it matter that it's universal truth and I'm able to apply it and find the value? What matters?
The universal truth and the value part.
Is it not? So, therefore, it is not a matter of belief about whether Krishna said it or Vyasa said it. It is a matter of those who have studied it, those who have then found the courage to apply it, have said, hey, look, it helped me. Whether you talk about somebody like Nelson Mandela or whoever, it doesn't really matter. You can find innumerable people, but forget about those innumerable people in the history or somewhere else. The four of us who are here, if you ask, have you found value? Like how you said, I will put my hand up and say, what are the particular situations where all I have been able to apply and how it has helped me in different situations of my life. So the moment I found value, I started feeling, hey, this is something wonderful. Is it only me? Of course not. So many others are also finding value. So it must be of universal value. So that is what has brought me to this study circle. Does it make sense what is being implied here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore,
Yeah.
you don't have to approach it at all from the standpoint of Krishna or Mahabharata or any particular isms, doesn't matter. What matters is there something that I can apply? And by that application, am I finding the result that Krishna is talking about here? Then it must be a statement of truth. So you and I constantly, that's why, are churning. How is it applicable? How is it a statement of truth? The last two shlokas, the previous shloka where Krishna talks about Devayana, and the current shloka where Krishna is talking about Pitriyana, at a surface level seems like, hey, look, who has gone to so-called death and come back and talked about all this? It's impossible to understand whether all these things are true or not. Who really has taken a rebirth to talk about all this? So like that, the questions you're raising are all valid questions, wonderful questions. And if you notice the pattern of Bhagavad-gita Siyaji, nowhere Krishna said, just listen to me, Arjuna. Krishna is constantly only responding to Arjuna's questions. Which means what? Which means you and I have a very natural instinct to understand. That's the nature of human mind. A small child therefore constantly asks why, how, when, what. If the appropriate answers are not found in its environment, it feels there is no point in asking the questions. Whereas Krishna's approach here is to encourage the questioning attitude of Arjuna. Because Arjuna here is not asking questions to test the knowledge of Krishna. Arjuna has genuine interest in understanding. So therefore, when you also raise such questions, it's extremely valuable. So before we talk about, what does these two shlokas mean, because there are perspectives with which, we can look at these two shlokas. Whatever we have discussed so far, one, about universal value, that it contains universal truths. And second, the attitude of right questioning is the right attitude to learn. Are these two making sense?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So therefore, it's a wonderful quality, because unless you seek, there is no way you will receive. Look at our entire tradition of spiritual learning, whether it's Upanishads. In Upanishads, you will find many Upanishads have this format: question and answer. There is a Shishya, there is a Guru, and there's a conversation happening. And the whole of Sanatana Dharma's way of teaching spiritual knowledge is not, I tell you, listen. It is rather, here is how it is. And then suddenly there's a question in the mind of the Shishya. And then the Guru looks at how to address that. So it's a tradition built on these kind of meaningful samvadas. It is not a upanyasa tradition. Upanyasa means, I tell you, listen. Samvada means you and I together are having a conversation, a discussion to discover together.
Okay.
Are you able to see the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our study circle is a discovery circle. It is not a upanyasa circle. Yeah. So there is no upanyasa here. Upanyasa means what? I tell you, simply listen. If you have a question, no, you listen to me only. That is enforcement of a particular viewpoint. When, say, for example, somebody says, hey, what is written in this book? Do not question. What is written is written. simply accept, then it becomes an enforcement. Enforcement can be brought by carrot and stick policy. Carrot means you believe. To believe, I will give you 1,000 rupees. Stick means if you don't believe, you will get the beatings by sword or by fear. Will either of these approaches truly help you, Siyaji?
No.
No. So therefore, that is not at all our tradition. Our tradition, when I use the word our tradition, what do I mean? The spiritual tradition, the Sanatana tradition. Sanatana means that which has been flowing eternally. In the Sanatana tradition, right from childhood, look at all our stories. Nachiketa Yama. Little boy called Nachiketa went to Yama and all he had was so many questions to Yama. Yama had to sit patiently and answer every question. Whether it is Yama Nachiketa, or if you look at any other stories in our Upanishads, look at what we are studying, Bhagavad-gita. It's a conversational format. It's a question and answer format. Look at our, see, there are 3 scriptures that are considered as the prime scriptures to bring about the deepest clarity about existence. They're called as Prasthanatraya. And these 3 are Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. If you look at Upanishads, full of these kinds of conversations. If you look at Bhagavad Gita, this kind of a conversation. Brahma Sutra, though, it takes it to even further level. The Brahma Sutra is nothing but so many objections being raised about whatever truths that are being mentioned, whether in Upanishads. Upanishads are considered as Shruti, revealed. They are not written by some person thinking, let me think about what is existence. It is not in that way. Upanishads are all called as apaurushaya. They are revealed. So revealed means what? A very intuitive understanding has emerged. Very intuitive. As an example, Siyaji, love. Can you understand love? Can you understand the love between you and your mother?
I couldn't hear you.
Is love, am I audible?
Yeah.
Is love between you and your mother, can you define what is love based on what is happening between you and your mother? Can you define love? Do you think you can define what is love?
I guess supporting most of the things that I do and helping me through them is the love between me and my mom.
So like that, you have one expression, right?
Yeah.
Can you say that that is going to be universally accepted by everyone? In some cases, for example, if a child is, let's say, for example, I'm just saying, is stealing, the mother may come and beat that child. And if you ask the mother, why are you doing it? I'm doing it out of love for the child. It is no more supporting what the child is doing, but it is actually against what the child is doing. But that is also in love of the child. So in that sense, the definition that you just now gave, that supporting whatever I am doing, may not be applicable in that context. But still, that also is seen as love. Are you able to see the difference between these two?
Yeah, but how is beating the child love?
Let's say the child is stealing something. For the first time, the child is stealing something. Sometimes, giving one pet to may help the child remember.
But beating the child is not gonna help them, learn from it. It's just gonna make them see the parent in a different way.
True, that is true. However, the child will also remember that, hey, why did my mother beat me? So sometimes the mother may immediately want to give a message. So may want to stop something from happening. So in such a case, the mother may act in that moment in such a way which may be against the definition of love that you gave, which is supporting. Maybe the mother may not support. Maybe the mother may oppose. I gave the example of beating as an example of opposition.
Okay.
Instead of supporting, if the child is doing something that mother knows is going to lead to a destructive outcome, the mother may oppose. But if you ask the mother, why are you doing? The mother will still say, out of love. Is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, now what is that we are finding? Love cannot be simply defined through these kinds of experiences. But both the mothers, the mother who is supporting, the mother who is opposing, both if you ask, what is that you're doing? Why are you doing? It is out of care and concern and love for my child. So love is something which is more a feeling oriented. It is not something that you can very clearly define. Or 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. You cannot say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 in the case of love. Can you?
No.
Yeah. So what is that I am saying here is, like that, in the Prasthanatraya, the Shrutis, the Upanishads are revealed, very intuitively revealed text. Revealed means what? There's an intuition, there's a feeling about something. Now, what is Bhagavad-gita? Bhagavad-gita is called as a Smriti. So, Smriti means memory. So, Vedavyasa Maharshi wrote it. That's why you will find who wrote it. Vedavyasa Maharshi wrote it. Whereas Upanishads, most of the Upanishads, who wrote it? Nobody knows it. They are revealed. Now, what is Brahma Sutra? Brahma Sutra is a very analytical, methodical analysis of all kinds of objections to what has been revealed and how it is the truth, how it is universal. Because at the end of the day, the question is not that of who said it, when it was said. The question is it universal? Is it applicable to you and me today? If it is applicable to you and me and everybody else, it must be of value. That's the only thing that we need to figure out. Is it not?
Yeah.
And Brahma Sutra is a very analytical way of doing that with all kinds of objections. Okay. So therefore, to your question, Siyaji, you don't have to worry about who said it, when they said it. You have to only see whether what is being said, how it is applicable. If it is not making sense, then having this kind of a conversation is a way to share perspectives. And then you are offered an opportunity to see whether the perspective is acceptable to you or not. And through that, what I call as a samvada, you have to make up your mind at the end of the day. Is it all making sense?
Yeah, it is.
All right. So now these two shlokas, in order to understand this, there are 2-3 layers in which we can understand this. But if we jump into it right away, it's already 8:40. I just want to be cognizant of everybody's time. Do we do it now or do we continue in our next session?
Next session, Vijayji.
All right.
No, because I have to feed this fellow and make him sleep. That's why.
Sure.
Vijayji, find out your Brahma Sutra. What you say is Bhagavatam, is it?
No.
Or it's
Brahma Sutra is not Bhagavatam. Brahma Sutra is again written by Vedavyasa. Brahma Sutra is essentially what I can call as a very detailed analytical way of understanding the truth about existence. What Bhagavad-gita, what Upanishads say, it is very analytically explained. All possible objections. See, at the end of the day, if something has to be accepted as universal, it is not by merely professing that, okay, it is written in this book, therefore you accept. It will not work, no. Human mind is not going to be able to accept it. So to accept it, it has to be methodically organized. It has to be methodically explained. There is a krama. See, if you simply say that, hey, mango is tasty, you will not accept it. You have to be given a nice mango and nicely cut, and then only you will know, right? That is what Brahma Sutra is. Brahma Sutra is a various objections to various kinds of perspectives. So, for example, essentially, what is the message of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita says that you are that divine. You are that ultimate divine. That's the simplest message of Bhagavad Gita. Now, it cannot be simply, oh, Bhagavad Gita says so. No. How it is so? So all these, my life situations are different, your life situations are different, and the way I respond to my life is different, and the way you respond to your life is different. And Krishna seems to have, responded differently. And we also have so many cultural stories about who is God, who is divine, and what all kinds of powers divine have. Where is all of that? Divine should be able to do some tadang, and suddenly something should appear in the hand. When I do this tadang, nothing. It's a pure air. Nothing appears. And after a while, you have the same feeding the child problem. But God seems to be always happy. Where, he doesn't seem to be having to do anything at all. So all these cultural aspects are also there. So you have to be able to reconcile in the context of what you have gathered, what you have understood. So our Vedanta is essentially, therefore, not letting you imagine stuff. See, heaven, a place called heaven, where you go after death. With all kinds of humility, I will ask you, who is that who has gone there and come back and told you that, I've gone to heaven and then I found that place having that Ramba, Menaka, or whatever the different concepts that different religions seems to have. Who has come back and told you that I have seen it? So you and I need to understand the teaching methodology that has been employed in the Sanatana Dharma. The teaching methodology is symbolic, a very symbolic. And the symbols we mistake for the truth. Never ever you should mistake the map for the place. A map is just a symbol to go to that place. When you look at the map, let's say you want to go from Bangalore to Chennai. When you look at the map is not Chennai. Map is not Bangalore. Map is not all that distance between Bangalore and Chennai. Map is just a symbol for you to guide you to go there. Like that, so many wonderful truths have been embedded through various symbols, because the seers of the truth realized in how to help human mind grasp this in the most easiest way. The most easiest way. So I'll just give you one example and then we can end for today. So, Ji, if I request you to describe Ganapati, how will you describe Ganapati? The picture of Ganapati, what comes to your mind when you think of Ganapati?
Elephant smiling.
Elephant smiling. Okay, now one simple question, Siyaji. Is there any person that you have seen in this life who has a human body and an elephant head?
No.
Then why are you thinking, that is true?
I didn't understand.
Then why are you thinking that Ganapati may be true?
I'm still trying to figure out if it's true or not.
True or not, right? Excellent. See, you are right for this. Ganapati, why there is a human body and an elephant head? Now, one simple question, Ji. You know the story of how that boy got Ganapati's head, no? Or elephant head, no?
I guess I think I forgot it.
The story goes that, once Parvati wanted to take bath. And
Oh, yeah. I remember now. I remember.
Yeah. Tell me the next part.
Huh?
Tell me the next part. What do you remember?
I think I don't remember, but I think her baby died and
No, first thing is, she apparently created that baby out of the, dust from her body. Okay, the muck from her body. And said,
Yeah.
stand here and don't let anybody come in. And
Yeah.
Shiva, who is Shiva? Parvati's husband.
Mhm.
So he comes. This boy says, no, nothing doing. I will not let you. And apparently, Shiva gets angry and cuts his head off. Okay. Now, what that lady, Parvati, does? She comes running and starts crying. Wouldn't
Wait,
you?
who cuts off the head?
Shiva cuts off the head of that boy.
Okay.
Right. And for that, what does Parvati do? Comes and starts crying. Now, one question, Ji. Who created that boy in the first place?
Parvati.
Huh?
Who created that boy in the first place?
Parvati, yeah.
Now, why is she crying now then?
Because she lost something that she
She can
created.
as well create, no?
But that person meant something to her.
Correct. Anyway, she can create, no? The story goes that she simply created him out of nothing, out of just the dust from her body. So she knows how to create. So you see,
Yeah.
like that, these stories make you ask questions, are made to ask questions. So if you take it literally, we will get mighty confused. So therefore, these stories have to be understood at a very physical level as, okay, could it even happen like this? It seems to be impossible, right? How can it be? Somebody called Parvati creating and Shiva coming and cutting the head. And Shiva in other stories are said to be most kind, most benevolent, Karunamaya. How can such a person get so angry that he would chop head off that to his wife's child? So all these things seem to be contradictory in nature. Is it not?
Yeah.
So therefore, the way to look at these stories is, what is the symbology that is being taught here? Symbology is there the boy represents a boy who's full of ignorance. What is the fight between him and Shiva? You are different. I'll not let you inside. So this boy is a representation of you and me, thinking that you and me are separate from the rest. So when you and me feel you and me are separate from the rest, and when I have a very deep-rooted feeling that I am such and such a person, you are such and such a person, I am better or you are inferior, or you are better and I'm inferior. All these are me and mine and you and others feeling. that boy represents that feeling. That boy represents that ignorance. Shiva here represents a realized master. And the chopping of the head represents cutting off the head of ignorance. Cutting off the ignorance. What is the ignorance? Me and mine. That is the ignorance. And replacing that with the elephant head. What is elephant head? A head of awareness. Why? The eyes of an elephant, if you notice, is very small, means it can see from a long distance. The ear of an elephant, it is said that they can listen to sounds, very subtle sounds from a long distance. Elephant head, sharp memory. Elephants tend to remember very clearly. Their mouth, they don't speak a lot. The nature of the mouth, if you see, they listen more, speak less. So like that, it's a representation of a enlightened mind. Instead of an ignorant mind that was fighting with the world, the Guru has chopped that ignorant mind and replaced it with the enlightened mind, which is able to see the unity, see the oneness. So that's the symbology of that story. Like that, Bhagavad-gita, in many places, Sri Krishna also has given wonderful symbologies. The last shloka and this shloka need not have to be seen only at a very surface level, at a very gross, physical, literal level. There is a beautiful symbology. So in our next session, let's deep dive into that. But with the story that I narrated, is that clear, Ji, for you?
Yeah, Ji. Yeah, Ji is missing.
Are you there, Siyaji? Are you able to hear me? I'm not able to hear you, Siyaji.
Yeah.
He's speaking, but we are not able to
I
hear.
cannot hear you, Siyaji.
I can see you unmute, Siyaji, but I'm unable to hear anything that you are saying. Is the story and the symbology of the story clear to you, Ji? You can even type and answer.
Vijayji, you need to take one class for all the gods like this. And will ask such question and I'll say, if I don't know anything, so I'll say, just go. Play your game online. Leave me alone.
Certainly, Ji. Each of our festival, each of our forms of different divine being is a map, is a symbol to a deeper truth of existence. Just like how Ganesha is a symbol of awareness, Shanmuga is a symbol of various manifestations of energy. Shiva is the ultimate guru. That's why he's always carrying a Trishula. Because you and I are bound by the three shulas. They are constantly pricking you and me. For example, you and I are bound by yesterday, today, tomorrow. Time is a bondage. You and I are bound by the three gunas. The tamo, rajo, sattva guna. The more I tend to think that, I am bound by time, I'm bound by the three gunas, I will be suffering in life. So Shiva is that ultimate guru who brings a three Trishula to cut these 3 knots away. He's carrying Trishula. That's why he's seen as a god who is living in Smashana, because he realizes that there is no permanent change in life. The only thing that is permanent is him, that is consciousness.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Yes, Siyaj.
Yeah, it's clear to me now, Vijay.
Yeah. All right. So in our next session, let us deep dive into these 2 shlokas. Let's see it from 2-3 viewpoints, and let's explore whether it makes sense.
Yes. Saravanan-ji, I think next class onwards, chanting will keep it in last. Otherwise, 1 hour is going in chanting only.
Yeah. It's good that we are spending good time on discussion. Yeah, maybe we can reduce, or we can directly start with the contemplation as well.
Later we can do chanting.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. With that, I will stop this recording. Thank you.